We start tonight with an exclusive ITV investigation into allegations of sexual inappropriate and intimidating behaviour by celebrity chef Gino D'Acampo. Dozens of alleged victims have come forward to tell ITV News about their experiences of working with the chef over a period of 12 years. They described behaviour which they claim was unacceptable, distressing and horrendous. D'Acampo told ITV News he firmly denied the allegations, adding that they were deeply upsetting, and warning that this special report from our correspondent Sejal Karia contains details and language which you may find upsetting.
He's the celebrity chef with a big personality, known for his innuendo.
How you doing? You all right?
Risque remarks.
A sausage in the hole sounds fantastic.
And cheeky one-liners.
But you know what I mean?
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike. You know what?
From launching restaurants and writing cookbooks.
Let's cook.
To fronting cookery shows and primetime entertainment programmes.
This is called filatura.
But we've spoken to dozens of people who worked with Gino D'Acampo over a 12-year period. They told us about behaviour they claim ranged from unacceptable to intimidating and at times distressing.
And the new King of the Jungle is Gino!
Painting a darker side of one of the kings of light entertainment.
I definitely saw it as some kind of power play. The very act of what he said was aggressive.
Hannah, whose identity we're protecting, worked with Gino D'Acampo in 2011 on a photo shoot for a high-profile magazine. She told us she was shocked when he made a highly sexualised comment to her.
It was in between shots and Gino turned to me and in front of everybody said that he would like to turn me over and me up the against the kitchen counter.
What was your reaction?
Obviously horror. Everyone kind of looked nervously into their cups of tea. I'm not surprised nobody said anything because it was so weird and horrendous. It made me feel very, very, very small. I felt like Gino in that moment was very entitled and he felt very safe. He did not think that that was an inappropriate thing to say to me.
Gino D'Acampo told us he doesn't recall the comment, nor does he accept that this happened, saying he's horrified to be accused of power play and an aggressive act, and he emphatically and unequivocally denies these allegations. But Hannah isn't alone. We've heard from camera crew and production staff who told us they believe they've either witnessed or experienced themselves lewd comments, sexually inappropriate behaviour or bullying. One of them, who we are calling Natalie, told us about when she was asked to brief him.
He opened the door in his boxer shorts, nothing else, and jumped on the bed and was sort of leg up. We had to sort of sit there facing him and he made, reference to his basically saying, "Oh, don't worry, it's only small," and sort of flicking it.
How did that make you feel?
Disgusted. I think he feels he's in a position of power and he can say or do what he wants. I see it all as quite aggressive, really. I just almost thought, let's get to the end of this and then I'll never work anywhere near him.
In response, Mr. D'Acampo told us that he categorically denies these allegations, considering them to be a fabricated work of fiction. Others, scared of losing work, sent us statements about what they say they saw. One told us they witnessed him appearing to threaten a young colleague over an ice cream. They said, "I was present when Gino said to the runner, 'If you don't get me a cornetto, I will your girlfriend.' I felt appalled, disgusted, embarrassed and very angry." Another, who say they witnessed the incident, said the girlfriend was also a member of the crew. They told us, "The comment stuck in my head for years. He was using his power to bully and intimidate us. For what? A cookery programme. Gino's cheeky chappy persona allows him to hide in plain sight. If I see him on the TV, I have to leave the room." Mr. D'Acampo told us he was mortified to be accused of saying inappropriate words to a junior member of staff, and that he does not recall this incident at all, and the words alleged are absolutely not ones that he would say. Lena, not her real name, worked on several of Gino D'Acampo's shows, including Gordon, Gino and Fred's Road Trip in 2018.
Without saying hello, good morning, he just announced loudly that he felt like that morning. I really feel like a this morning. And off he went. How can you think that that sort of teenage boy behaviour is appropriate in a 40-something man while he works in a position of highest power?
It's also claimed he said to a young female colleague in 2018, "When are we all going to get drunk and have sex together?"
What are you making?
A beautiful carbonara.
But ITV News understands concerns were raised 7 years ago after a complaint about the filming of Gordon, Gino and Fred's Road Trip. We've seen an email alleging specific sexualised comments that were made by the presenter, some too explicit to broadcast. They included discussing one of the team members' breasts, describing someone as a bitter, middle-aged woman who needed to get laid, saying he was so hungry I could eat somebody's and comparing the texture of mozzarella to a female body part. We've also seen a response to that complaint from the production company which made the programme. It says the presenter and others were spoken to about the differences between on-screen character material and behaviour off-screen with members of the team. It also added when issues arose on Mission Impossible, a production 5 years later in 2023, a complete and thorough process was followed. But Mr. D'Acampo told us he only became aware of these complaints because of our investigation. His lawyers told us no one has ever made these complaints to Mr. D'Acampo. Mr. D'Acampo does not recall making any of these comments, nor does he accept they were made.
This is where I was born.
Right.
Okay?
But staff we've spoken to said the measures taken to contain the behaviour in this and other productions haven't gone far enough.
Certain types of talent are protected, furiously protected, because that's the face that brings the audience, that brings the advertisers, brings the cash. If I leave in the middle of a production, it's a nuisance. If he leaves, that's major.
What are your thoughts when you see him on TV?
I wouldn't watch him on TV.
I don't want to see him. I just changed to another programme.
It's Gino D'Acampo!
Most recently, Gino D'Acampo's been the host of one of ITV's longest-running game shows, Family Fortunes. But tonight, ITV News understands the series filmed in 2023 is not currently scheduled for broadcast, and ITV has no plans to work with Gino D'Acampo.
OK, so Cedral, what have people he's worked with had to say about this?
Well, during our investigation, we spoke to dozens of people, men and women, including colleagues who really liked working with the celebrity chef. One told us it was a pleasure to work with him and that he was passionate and professional. But responding to our investigation, Mr. D'Acampo has vehemently denied all the allegations, saying, "Not only have these allegations never been raised with me before, I have been repeatedly supported by executives at the highest level and was commissioned on primetime programmes during the period which it is now suggested I was acting inappropriately. I take such matters extremely seriously, and the suggestion that I have acted in an improper way is deeply upsetting."
But what about the people behind these programmes?
Well, several different production companies made these programmes, but they were all aired on ITV, and they all told us that they take their duty of care to staff extremely seriously. And when complaints are raised, they all have robust protocols in place to deal with them. ITV also told us all of the concerns and complaints raised by those who have spoken to ITN describe behaviour which is inappropriate and unacceptable. They say most of the complaints outlined in our report were not reported to the broadcaster at the time. And they say where issues have been raised, action has been taken. They say production companies have the primary responsibility for the duty of care of everyone they work with. Now, Mr. D'Acampo denies being made aware of any complaints. But tonight, Objective Media, that made the road trip series with Gordon, Gino and Fred, have confirmed with us he was spoken to regarding his off-screen behaviour, and bespoke training was then provided and completed. Another production company, Multi-Story, also said it's reviewing the concerns which have been raised on one of its productions in 2019, what was known at the time and what action was taken. But for the men and women that we've spoken to as part of our investigation, they say there aren't enough protections to stop this kind of alleged behaviour from happening now or in the future.